The NFL draft is done and over, and I am going to be breaking down each and every team and grading out their draft. So check back every day, because one team I will do every single day, and I'll have it up here on YouTube for you to watch. We'll go over every prospect that they drafted, as well as some key undrafted free agents that they may bring in. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section, and I'll be sure to address them for you. Also, just be aware on my draft grades, no one fails the draft, especially right after it. Even no one in this draft is going to get a D or an F from me, because everyone had a talent. Everyone did something. So if you think the grades are a little bit high, that's just me not going to too much extremes. And maybe in 3 or 4 years, when we look back on this draft, then we can see who really succeeded and who really failed. So sit back, relax, enjoy me as I break down every single team this year. The draft expert, Shane Hallam, shows off his knowledge. Writing mock drafts, prospects from the best college. Breaking down tape, he might develop a man crush. Tearing up guys, taking questions in a rush. Comparisons, learning lessons, Shane saves the day, oy vey. Hulk or Banner, doesn't matter. Listen, cause here's who can play. Alright everyone, today we're going to go over the San Diego Chargers. And San Diego had a draft that was quality over quantity. They didn't have a whole lot of picks, but they used them in very good ways to address needs that they had to do immediately. And the reason they didn't have a lot of picks is because they traded up in the first round for Ryan Matthews, running back out of Fresno State. Now, I'm not a huge Ryan Matthews fan. I thought this was high for him. He's a player that runs upright, a player that's never gotten through a full college season, and I think he's a guy that's going to get injured in the NFL. I really do, especially as a rookie over 16 games. But they have Darren Sproles there, and he's a perfect complement to Sproles, and he's great for that offense. He's a guy that can run up the middle, someone that's going to be more of your every down back, and Sproles can be used in the backfield, used in different ways, catch the ball. So I like the fit, and I think they knew they needed to get above Houston. They knew they needed to move up to get him, and I see it with this pick. So I'm fine with that pick for San Diego. Even though I'm not a huge Ryan Matthews fan, I understand why they did it, and it makes sense for their current team and what they have to work with there. In the third round, then, they got Butler, linebacker out of Washington, a guy I really like. He was a latecomer to the Senior Bowl, but he stepped in beautifully and really outdid his expectations at the Senior Bowl. He was all over the field. He was making plays, making tackles, a great fit for that 3-4 defense. They traded away Tim Dobbins to move up to get Ryan Matthews, and this is the replacement right here. It's going to be Butler. I think he may start from day one in one of those inside linebacker positions for San Diego. Pretty good in coverage. Very underrated player in this draft going in the third round. I think you're going to see him rack up a lot of tackles in San Diego. In the fourth, they got Darrell Stuckey, safety out of Kansas, another guy that I'm a big fan of. I think Darrell Stuckey is a player that can play in the box. That's what his primary thing in Kansas, a very good tackler, a hard hitter. But I think he's underrated in coverage, and you see it on tape. He gets beat sometimes, but there are times when he can really stick with receivers, especially in the zone. He's good at reading the quarterback and knowing where to go. He's always close to that tackle, even if he doesn't quite get on the receiver. So I think that he's someone that can get coached up and be a starting safety next to Eric Weddle in San Diego for a long time. In the fifth, they got Cam Thomas, nose tackle out of North Carolina, someone I thought would go in the second round. I've been hearing talks that he would go in the second and was rising up draft boards. Apparently, he was falling down draft boards, and San Diego lost their nose tackle in Jamal Williams, and they're turning now to probably this fifth-round pick in Cam Thomas to be one of the guys to fill those shoes of Jamal Williams. It was a big need, and they got a player that is pretty versatile. He's a guy that's always eating up blocks, a good pedigree of defensive lineman there from North Carolina. I really like Cam Thomas. I do think he's someone that's going to make this roster and probably can be in a rotation at the nose tackle position. And if that's the case, I think it's going to free them up and keep the pass rushing defense happy. And then finally in the seventh, they got Dedrick Epps, tight end out of Miami. He's someone that's going to come in from Manny Maliuna and replace that number 2 tight end next to Antonio Gates. More of a blocker, but someone that's an underrated pass catcher. And if it wasn't for Jimmy Graham, probably would have more touchdowns for Miami. So I like the chance on Dedrick Epps. I think it's worth that shot for San Diego. And as I said, this is a draft with quality over quantity, so I'm giving him an A. I like it. I like the draft. and I like what they did. You got your running back, starter, Ryan Matthews. You got your linebacker, starter, Donald Butler. You got your nose tackle, starter, Cam Thomas. You got your safety, starter, Darrell Stuckey. You got your tight end, Dedrick Epps, who's going to definitely contribute as a 7th-round pick. Every single pick is going to contribute, and that's all I can really ask for. They got a lot of players I thought were underrated in Stuckey and Butler and Cam Thomas, so I love those picks. Though I'm not the biggest fan of the Ryan Matthews pick, I understand it, and I think it's a great fit. And that's what a lot of these picks have to be in the NFL draft. People don't understand that, but sometimes it's about the fit on your team more than how good the player is. If you get a guy that's great, but it's a terrible fit, then he's going to fail. If you get someone that isn't great, but it's a great fit, then he's probably going to succeed. So I like that for San Diego. A couple undrafted free agents I really like. Seyi Ajirotutu, wide receiver out of Fresno State. If you watched my underrated video, I highlighted him. There's openings there in that San Diego receiving core for him to step in and do something. And I think Seyi Ajirotutu, very solid, big guy, uses his hands well to catch the ball, catches everything, not afraid to go over the middle. The type of player San Diego needs. Can start out as a special teamer, be very good there, and then move up into that receiving core. So that was really the one that caught my eye and the one I wanted to touch on because I'm a big fan of him and I think he's going to make a difference in San Diego. So there you go. There's the Chargers. We're going to be finishing up the AFC this week, so stay tuned.